At this time, we will begin the Rules Committee meeting. I'd like to welcome everybody here to the Cherokee Nation. And we'll have Council Member Mr. Kurt Snell. Would you please bless the meeting?
Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful winter day. Lord, be with us as we go through our committee meeting today. And bless all the visitors that's here. And Lord, would you give us wisdom, understanding, and help us to work together and get through this meeting. And we ask your blessings on everything we do today, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, Shelley.
Yes, sir. Joe Bird.
Ani.
Heather Walking-Stick. Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Buzzer.
Here.
Julia Coates. Jody Fishinghawk. Kim Fulbright. Present. John Garvin. Frankie Hargis. Present. China Glory Jordan. Present. Lee Keener.
Ani.
Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Denise Taylor. Here. David Thornton. Victoria Vesquez. Ani. Carrie County. Honey. We do have a quorum.
Okay. The minutes were mailed to you, and at this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Yes, Speaker.
I would like at this time to amend the agenda by bringing items 3 and 4 under old business, and 1, 2, 3, 4 under new business up to the front, before committee reports.
Okay, have a motion to amend the agenda. Also have a second. Discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We will amend the agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like also to make a motion to amend the agenda for an item at the end to do a brief report on the proposed Plains and Eastern Clean Line project.
And I would second that.
Where are you wanting to put that, Council?
At the end is fine.
Okay,
It should not take long.
okay. Got a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. So we'll move down to reports.
No. Move us to number 3 under old business.
Oh, we're going to do 3 and 4?
And then move.
1, 2, and 3?
And 4.
3, 4, and then 1 through 4.
Okay. All right. You got that, Speaker?
Yes. Well, I would defer that to Curtis. Curtis, would you like to?
Number 3,
Great.
Rick Smith. Yes. Pardon me. This is a resolution appointing Rick Smith to the Cherokee Nation Elected Official Citizens Committee. And Rick, are you here today? Yes. I've known Rick for several years. We live up there in the around the Bull Hall and Salina area. And Rick's very nice young gentleman, about my age, and I'd like to appoint him, and I'll make this form of a motion.
I'd second that.
Yeah, you got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of appointing Rick Smith to the Cherokee Nation Elected Official Citizen Committee? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain.
Okay, 1 abstention. Get that, Shelley? Okay. Rick, congratulations. Okay, number 4. Janice?
This is a resolution appointing Frances L. Head to the Cherokee Nation Elected Official Citizens Committee, and I move for her approval.
Second. Okay, have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And she is here. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations. Somebody trying to call in?
Sure.
Julia.
Trying to call in a pizza.
Julia?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that takes us to new business, item number 1. Who's going to take that? Speaker?
Again, I would defer that to Janelle, if that would be all right.
That'd be fine. Counselor Fulbright?
One moment, please.
This is a resolution to appoint Lyndon Emberton to the Compensation Committee Board. And I've known him all of his life. His parents go back a long ways. And if you go back far enough on our family tree to the Blairs, way back several generations, we may be maybe 10th cousin, I don't know, but he has a great experience in he and his wife have the Emberton Home Health Agency, and I'm sure you've read his resume, and he's taught at Carl Albert College for several years, at several high schools, and he's got a good background, and he's a great Cherokee citizen, contributor to the community, and I can't say enough nice things about him, so I highly recommend him along with Councilor Joe Byrd.
Totally
I
agree.
recommend for his approval.
I would second.
So, got a motion and a second. Discussion? I as well recommend Mr. Emerton very highly. Federal Programs Director, and he is available. I think he's once a Muldrow Bulldog, and that puts him pretty high up there in the bar for me. So, no more discussion. We'll go ahead and take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
One abstention. Congratulations, Mr. Emerson. Okay, item number 2. Kurt, you gonna take that?
Yes. Yes, this is a resolution appointing Joe Hutchison to the Cherokee Nation Official Citizen Committee Group. And Joe's been a state representative, state game ranger, and he's known me forever. And I've known him forever. But anyway, I would highly recommend Mr. Hutchison, and I'll put this in form of motion.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Yes, Counselor
I've got a
Fulbright.
comment.
Comment?
I highly recommend Representative Hutchison, and he was a state representative for many, many years, and we served on the Gaming Commission together for several years, and he did a really good job, and he's just a man of great character, and I think he'll do really good on this position and bring a lot of integrity to it. And I highly recommend him.
Yes, I as well. I think we're very fortunate to have somebody of his caliber that is willing to serve on this committee. I've served on boards with Mr. Hudson, and I recommend him highly. I think he'll do an outstanding job for us. Counselor Watts?
Thank you. And this is a question is for all the nominees, actually. There's no existing relationships by blood or marriage to elected officials currently for any of them.
You're asking me? You're
And I
asking-
understood, like, Councilman Fulbright had said it was a distant, which would probably qualify all of us. And so, but is there any, like, within second or third degree consanguinity
Probably. I mean,
that need to be declared?
yeah.
Madam Councilwoman, I will find the answer to that. I don't believe that there is. But if such a relationship exists, we'll let the
Okay,
entire
I
council
appreciate
know
that.
before.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you,
you,
Counselor.
Mr. Chair.
Appreciate it. Okay, we have a motion and a second from Mr. Hudson. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain.
One abstention. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Item number 3.
Yes. I'll take that. It's an act in your book, and it's actually relating to not salaries. I would like to add something to the end of paragraph 2. This would not be considered a salary or stipend for them. It would just be to cover their expenses. And I would like to add at the end of item 2, section 5, where it stops at, let me read this to you. The Citizens Committee shall be paid $500 per committee member to cover all expenses they incur to attend up to 3 of their meetings. If you'll recall, this board or this group only, they do a review. It might take them up to 3 meetings. It might take a few more, but what we would like to do is cover their expenses for 3 meetings. And then once they issue their report, which under this this amendment, their report would be due on July 1. Once they issue their report, they exist no more. I mean, they're done with their work. And you have to do this every 4 years under the statute that they operate under. So I would like to make a motion to pass this act with that little slight change in wording. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I thought it'd be easier just to read it. Okay, so that would be my motion.
Okay, would you rephrase that for the
We actually had some copies, and I didn't get those out on the 6 or 7 words that you go ahead and hand those out. But it would read, the Citizens Committee shall be paid $500 per committee member to cover all expenses they incur to attend up to 3 of their meetings. So if they do more than 3 meetings, our intent is to only pay them for up to 3 meetings. And then once they issue their report on July 1, I don't know, we made a mistake there on what you're handing out. You had July 10th, but it's actually July 1 that the report would be due.
Added a 0, I guess.
Once they issue their report, then they're done with their work.
So we need to modify that July 1st instead of July 10th.
Yeah, it's July 1st. I don't know how that 0 got in there. Okay, and that would be in the form of a motion.
Say, have a motion and second. Discussion. Councilor Walker?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So remind me where the budget for this comes from? Is there already an existing line item that provides for this? Are you gonna have to move money around for it?
No, we can probably cover it in our budget.
So it'll come out of tribal council's budget?
Right, and it would be, by putting this limit on it, we know how much is the most it could be, and that way we can provide for it. Because you have 5 members, and they can make no more than be paid for 3 meetings, so that gives me a definite amount that we can move over in our budget.
Okay, so then it would be $1,500 maximum times
Yes.
5, and you found it in the tribal council
Yes,
budget.
unless I talk to Lacey Horn, and she derives that there would be a better way to do it. We can absorb that within our
And that would
budget.
just be reflected in the budget modification
Yes,
then?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay, if it's clear, then we have a motion and a second. All in favor of this legislation, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstain? 1 abstention? Okay, Speaker.
And I think we have one more. Four. That goes down there. And, yes, she's back on the second row.
Here's this. Okay. You want to take that, Councilor Hargis?
A resolution confirming the nomination of Carrie Philpott as a member of the Cherokee Nation Registration Committee. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion. Carrie has served Adair County for many years as, I believe she was the county treasurer. But she's here if anybody has any questions.
I'll second that.
Okay, you have a motion and a second. Discussion?
I'd like to be added as a sponsor.
Okay.
Frankie, you want to be
Anybody else want to be added sponsor? You got Counselor Baker?
and Frankie and myself?
Okay, and she is here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is that it? Moving back up to, okay, we'll move back up to reports now. Marshal Service, Mr. Shannon Buell.
I'll be standing in for Shannon Buell today, council. I'm Mike Roach, I'm a lieutenant with patrol. Shannon had some urgent business he was taking care of in Sequoia County this morning, so I'm here to answer any questions that I can for you guys, or take any questions back to someone who might know those answers. If you guys have any questions for me on the report?
Yes. Counselor Busser?
I don't have a question, Mike, but I just want to let the committee know that the Marshal Service did distribute some computers for some kids that were going to college. And we have one in Jay, and I know this girl really appreciated having a laptop computer. So I want to thank the Marshal Service, and I think this funds comes from the Polaroid Fund, is what I understand.
Actually, this one was funded through Broken Arrow's Police
that's right.
Department. Yeah,
But anyway, just want to say thank you, and it's a good program.
absolutely, yeah, we enjoy doing that every year. We gave 3 away, I believe it's in your project, Jay, Catoosa, and Sequoia this year. They usually do 3 or 4 a year. And, it's in conjunction with Broken Arrow Police Department. It's a program we're attached to.
Good program, thank you.
Speaker?
Actually, you gave an additional one away, and
Over.
that's what I want to thank you for.
Yes.
I know that that young man was very appreciative. His name is White Killer, and it'll be put to good use. He's a senior this year and doing a real good job there, and we were very appreciative to see that he received one of the computers.
Yes, ma'am, and we'd like to thank you guys for coming to the events. You know, it means a lot to us when you guys get in there with us, so we appreciate that.
Okay. Counselor Watts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had forgotten that the funding came, even though you facilitated it and did a great job working with the local community to identify our student, it sounds like the other students. If you could you provide the police department that funded those so we could send a thank you to them?
Yes.
Just to let them know that, you know, it's not just you guys and the student that noticed, but everybody else did as well.
Yes, it's Broken Arrow Police Department did it. I can get you the contact information.
Perfect.
She
That way it doesn't
works.
get lost.
She works in conjunction with my wife, Shauna. Yeah, so I'll get you that.
Thank you, Marshal Roach.
Counselor Harms?
I just wanted to say thank you. Also, Shauna was able to give one to a young lady at Cave Springs, and it was greatly appreciated.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that good report.
All right, thank you.
Office of the Attorney General, Mr. Todd Henry. Let's see, we have our books in.
Pigs are flying.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. It's always a pleasure to report to the Tribal Council. As you can see, we've completed a project.
Congratulations.
We are very, very proud of that. The first codification of the Cherokee Nation occurred in 1986. As you can see, it's one volume. 1994 was the second codification, a two-volume set. We have completed the codification project, which is a 5-volume set. And I wanted to express my thanks to this committee. First of all, this process started a very long time ago in this committee. It's the responsibility of the Tribal Council to ensure codification. Codification is very important. It is important that our laws be available and easily researched. The council has done a fantastic job with it, with Legistar on a online basis, but these are readily recognizable. These are books that, with a little bit of training, everybody can use, and knowing our laws helps governments be open, transparent, and work effectively. And so we're very, very happy to see that done. We were, again, it was a process that lasted years, and when I became the Attorney General, I made it clear that I wanted to see this project through. So we took it on at the Attorney General's office. We dedicated a great amount of resources to it. There's so many people here that would that need to be thanked, and I probably would miss them if I started, but there's one person in particular that we would not have this set had it not been for her diligent efforts, and I wanted to publicly thank her, and I believe that the committee should too. Miss Christina Carroll. Let's give her a hand. She took all of our frustrations with the process and actually made it happen. And through the revisions and through everything else, her work was so instrumental. And it's a work that doesn't stop. I mean, when we did these in 1994, well, no one picked the ball up. Okay, so we're not going to let that happen this time around. We will have a continued effort of codification. But I wanted to give Christina a chance to say something.
I just want to thank you for the trust that was placed in Todd's office and in me particularly to do this project and to sort of be a clearinghouse for things that were coming in. There's so many people that did so much work on this, and it's hard for me to say, it's certainly not all me. There are people at West that did a tremendous amount of work, and I'd like to specifically thank Nancy Truax, who did the codification in 1994 and was there for us in the codification currently, which is an amazing thing that we had her resource. She is extremely ill, and I just want to send some prayers to her that she will recover and that maybe she can help us with this continuing project. But as you sit here as an instrumental part of our government, and I am so grateful that I was able to help in any small way. So thank you for your continued work. And thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
We thank you.
Thank you.
In other business, as many of you read, we were able to secure the dismissal of the UKB's claim on $2 million in escrow from the Riverbed settlement. We are in the process of getting that money transferred to the Cherokee Nation. Those monies will have the same responsibilities or restrictions that the original settlement was for. So therefore, land that we buy from these funds will be able to go directly into trust, which is a major benefit for the Cherokee Nation. We are still waiting decisions on our UKB 2-acre case. It's before Judge Frizzell. We're still waiting a decision on the Friedman issue that is pending in Washington, D.C. As to the 75-acre tract, the administrative record has been submitted to the federal court in the Eastern District, and we are in the process of reviewing that, and we'll be making our additions and objections to it. Other than that, I'm available for questions to the body.
Any questions for our Attorney General? Yes, Councilor Keenum.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the 2-acre case, depending on which way that goes, that'll affect the 75-acre case.
They're both very, the fact scenario in the law is the same. other than the 2-acre case had the additional requirement of gaming issues. So I would suspect that one ruling will follow the other.
Okay. And on the books, will we be getting copies of those or a disc or something?
The tribal council?
Yes.
Talk to your budget. I didn't get a copy of it when we created it, so, yeah, whatever the budget is.
Could I speak to that? We actually paid for it, the $110,000 to get the first 300 sets of books. What we're doing now is getting our money back through the sale of the books to the different departments. It will be up to you all. I mean, if you want me to just pull the trigger and give each one of you a set, we can do that because we actually own 300 sets. The way we have it broke down, we get all of the $110,000 back on the 300 sets at $363 and some cents per set. 300 sets, is that right, Todd?
That's my understanding, yes.
And then after that, we would have to extend out or renew or work out an agreement with
Right.
West Publishing for more sets. So I can talk to you all more individually offline about what we do on that. Now, it is available and will be available. It isn't right now, but it will be available on
The website, the Attorney General
website,
website, yes.
yes.
That's another thing that Christina is doing, that we are working on having that link set so that it have public access to it.
So anyone can go on and look up any law.
I can speak to that. West sent me discs, which I will deliver to you. I meant to bring them when I came for rules, but I left them sitting on my desk. I will bring them this afternoon. There are 5 discs that contain the full volume. They're in Word version, so I've talked to Jody and he talked to Shelley about the issues with them being in Word version and just the security of that, just to ensure that they don't fall into the wrong hands for obvious reasons. My understanding is they'll be turned into a PDF that will be Word searchable. They will not contain the index because that is copyrighted material. But you can just word search it. So if you're looking for citizenship or assault and battery, you can word search that and find all the instances within the code. So I think that will make it very easy to navigate. And so I will bring that this afternoon so you can get that on Legistar as soon as possible.
I know that when we went from codifying the Oklahoma Code book form to putting it out on the web, you're hard pressed to find a lawyer's office that has a set of books now. They all want to go to the web because it's so much faster, so much quicker. And like you said, you can do a word search and you can just get everything that's got that word in it.
So you may want to decide how soon you want to put that out.
Yeah, I wasn't in a hurry to distribute because we were trying to distribute to all the departments first and see how close we got to getting our money back. And then we were going to see where we were at. But I think there's going to be plenty to go around.
Thank you. That's some additional questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. And as you're, I know, acutely aware of, we've passed some new gaming laws recently.
Yes.
And I know they're working through that process. So the election commission, the gaming commission is.
Mm-hmm.
So everything they do, will that have to go through the APA process?
Yes, and I know Mr. Hummingbird here and I'm sure he will report on that, but the idea is that, as we've said all along, that these will be very methodically integrated, and all the processes will be followed, and making sure that everybody's copacetic with them. But yeah,
It should be.
Absolutely. So yes, I'm sure Mr. Hummingbird will speak further on that, but the process is working.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Councilor Lane?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Todd, the riverbed fund monies comes in and it goes into those specific areas that the original fund called for.
Correct.
And if we purchase property with that money, it automatically goes into trust?
Yes.
Okay. A couple of months ago, I think we untrusted some property. And I asked at that time if you or the administration could look into some way to keep that trust inventory with the nation, but perhaps allow the property to transfer, but still keep the trust inventory in the nation.
Okay.
Haven't heard anything back from anybody. I don't know if they really listen, but I'd like to ask you to look into that.
I most certainly will, and we'll give a report back to you on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Counselor Buzzard?
I had, on this trust issue, Todd, is that the same as land that's bought south of I-40, or is this can be put in trust in any?
My understanding, well, within our jurisdiction.
Okay, within the 14 county
Right,
jurisdiction?
correct.
Okay, because I'm thinking about some other settlements that we got that you could only get land south of I-40 that would go in trust. And am I thinking something here that's not right?
I will look into that issue. I'm not familiar with that, but it's my understanding that these proceeds, just like the original 18 million that we got, if it's within our jurisdiction, we buy the
So it
property.
goes in the building, okay. And I'll think about that some more. If I do, I'll
Okay, yeah.
email it to you. I don't know where I got that in my head.
Okay.
I did. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good? Okay.
I think I can maybe shed some light on that. There's a corridor along I-40, south and north. You buy land in that, it goes immediately in trust.
Yeah.
In the 14 counties, I don't think that'd be true.
Okay.
Just that certain area down there. They have about, 15 or 20 sections of land. If you buy inside that, it goes into trust.
I will definitely look into that and give the council a report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Speaker?
Just a side note, and back to the code books, several sets of code books are available for viewing by the public or by anyone here in the council offices. I know they'll be at the courthouse, I know they'll be in the AG's office, as well as they'll be out on the web pretty soon. So they're, our obligation that we've undertaken, that Mr. Hembry or Attorney General Hembry is taking care of for us, will be met to the world, to the public. It will all be for viewing, and should be easy for them to review if they need to look at a particular law.
Okay. Any more questions? Thank you for that good report.
Thank
there.
you, sir.
Election Commission, Mr. Bill Horton, thought I saw him earlier.
First off, I'd like to say good afternoon to the ladies of the council, and good afternoon to the gentlemen of the council. I figure there's gonna be quite a few questions asked today, and I probably can't answer all of them, so I brought the girls. Arby's got the meats, I got the girls. So, this time I'd like to ask the administrator of the election commission, Madison Cornett, to come forward. Director of the election commission, or the election director, Connie Parnell.
Mhm.
Y'all the ones gonna get the questions, so y'all get it from the side.
Thank you.
Smart man.
Good afternoon, council.
So, before we get started also, Martha Calico is here. Commissioner. Got, stand up, Keegan. She's clerk one. Two? She's clerk two. I get one and two mixed up. I don't know which one has the most. And our attorney, Harvey.
Okay.
All I can tell you is we've been working toward getting ready for the elections, doing a lot of work, answering a lot of questions, getting the packets out to everybody. So if you have questions you want to ask, these girls can answer.
No? Have any questions from the councilors? Council Kara White?
Thank you. Hi. Hi. Thanks for answering all our questions. I know they're coming your way. So I think the election law says, the way I recall it, shall mail voter cards.
Yes.
What we used to refer to as the red cards.
Yes, we still do. It's
So all
whether
voters
what color they are, yeah.
will get a card mailed to them a month or
Well, in May,
April?
it's actually in May, and that is the red card, but those are only to jurisdictional voters who vote within the Cherokee Nation. At-large voters, if they wish to vote, will request an absentee ballot, but anybody that turns in a registration form application, whether it's a duplicate, name change, or just a new application, anything, they get a notification card and says you're registered here or registered at large. So anything that comes into our office, you get a notification. But as far as the red card, that's only jurisdictional voters.
So the at-large, if they've been registered for some time, whether their address has changed or not, they will not get any notification closer to the campaign that, yes,
They don't-
they are registered.
They don't get what the jurisdictional voters get. No, they don't. But if they if they turn something in, they'll get that notification. But a lot of at-large voters don't even request an absentee ballot. So, and that may be why.
So all those forms, so everyone inside the jurisdiction of the Cherokee Nation or registered in a district inside the Cherokee Nation, which may include actually physically at-large folks, because they've registered inside, they will get what we used to refer to as a red card, but I believe it was yellow in 2011.
It's going to be a red, it's actually a white card with red.
Oh, we're going back. Okay,
Yes.
very good.
It was yellow.
They have to have
Yeah.
physical descriptions, and
Yes.
that's helpful.
It was yellow in 2013.
Okay,
It is-
2013 was.
It is red.
So it's
We've gone back to the
old
tradition.
red card, white with red trim.
Yes.
Yes.
That's very helpful. Thank you. One less one for you, I
Yep.
think. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Councilor Keenan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is the map that was on the website back on? Do we know?
Yes. Actually, Counselor Watts had called because, and that was a mistake within the office. I had put a PDF version instead of the PDF version from the actual company that made the map. So now it is back on, and it's the one that's really colorful, that really distinguishes where the lines are and everything of that nature. So
Is
yes,
that-
it is on.
I'm sorry. Is that the interactive one?
The interactive
Where you
one?
can type in your address and it tells you?
No. And that may have been done in the past, but our map doesn't do that.
No.
Okay.
But anytime that anyone has any questions, a lot of times we'll get on Google or whatever and help them pinpoint, and we do that diligently in the office. So we're open to anyone who has questions on that.
Is there a reason we took the interactive map off?
It's
I
something
can't answer to
we'll-
that, yeah.
Let us research it and then get back to you on that and see if what we have to do to make sure we can go back to the interactive map.
Okay. I just got a lot of comments that
Okay.
it was very helpful for people because the districts are so confusing.
Mhm.
They couldn't figure out what district they were in, if it was close to the line or something.
Right.
True, and as we search some of those things also, but let us check on that and we will get back with you on that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
Very
Mr.
good.
Chair.
Councilor Coates?
Thank you, Councilor Byrd. I just wanted to let folks know that on January 1, there were amendments to the notary laws in California. And this was brought to my attention by a constituent who is studying to be a notary. I shared the information with Ms. Barker Harold on Sunday. She got in touch with Mr. Chapin. And on Tuesday of this week, the Election Commission voted to make some amendments to the language on the ballot envelope so that it would continue to conform with the new requirements by the state of Oklahoma, or the state of California. So I just wanted to extend my gratitude and my thanks to the Election Commission, to Ms. Barker Harold, and to Mr. Chase for acting so quickly on this. I really, really appreciate it, and I continue to feel confident that the California vote will indeed come in and will count. Thank you, Councilor Byrd.
Welcome. Councilor Walkenstick?
That the website that was on there, there was a couple people got pretty mad over it because the addresses wasn't accurate. When you typed in the address, it puts you in someone else's district versus the one that you're supposed to be in. So there's some inefficiencies with the software program, but it was a good program if it worked properly.
Right. We can look into that. I think that was before I came on board. So I've never actually worked with it within the website, but like Connie said, we can reach out and see what we can do to get that back on. And
yeah, I don't know if it's GeoData put that on there or what, but it was a neat little software.
yeah, we'll definitely look into that.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Counselor Lane?
Thank you, Chair. Remind me again, when people who are living at large, but have never voted before, 18, 80, doesn't matter what the age is, they can apply, make application where they used to live, let's say Tahlequah, Sallisaw, wherever. Is that correct or not?
If they are 18 years of age and up to 25.
Up to 25.
And it's the first time that they have registered to vote for tribal elections. They can select whether it is to vote at large or to vote at a district within the 14 counties.
And I think I'm talking to somebody who was in their 50s and trying to do it and
Yes.
couldn't get it done. I wanted to make sure of that.
You good? Anybody else? Counselor Watts?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So that map is actually still online if you have the old URL. So it's still up and out there. I had the fortune or unfortune of helping with prior elections where addresses in some of the more difficult gerrymandered areas are. So I understand we still have had the OU Geodata Services.
It's actually CSA, Center for Spatial Analysis and
Okay.
Area Mapping. Yes.
So have we went back to explore some of those people that we weren't sure quite where they lived and really review those addresses again and make sure that?
Are you talking about people who are
I think-
unassigned?
Was it Salina or Spavinaw that's broke up into like 4 precincts somehow or 4 districts or?
It's, yes.
Salina's a big, yeah, Salina's a big one.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I thought there was still kind of, maybe it's just my personal
I
take
think-
on it.
Yeah, most everything is correct now. People who are still unassigned is because they maybe have a rural route. They haven't updated their address with us. We don't have a current one on them, and it's hard to, we have to go by directions. So if there are no directions on there, then we're just shot in the dark.
Is there a way to put back the search? People could search their name to see if they had a bad address. There was a tool online on the website, and it's gone now.
And I do believe someone had inquired, like when you buy a voter list, I believe that is one of the things that is on there, correct, Connie?
Yes.
Yes, when you buy a voter list, like say an electronic form, or if you get it in paper form, it's going to show to the side where it says a bad address or something of that nature, so it'll show. And it's not necessarily a bad address, but a lot, like I'll use Adair County for example. Everyone, unless you live directly in town, you have a rural route. But we're coming out with 911 addresses, and that's what Connie's talking about. So they've even been told, this is your new address, you live at 123 Sunny Lane, but you're still, right now, still use Rural Route 3, Box 5. And it's because, I guess the state, I'm not sure how that works. Connie's been working with CSA to get that updated, but we do that every day. So when we do have one that is like that, we Connie will contact CSA and get that updated, and then they are assigned. But we go by directions for that. So sometimes it is hairy.
Well, we lost population because we were told the voter had to inform the election commission if it was a bad address because of 911. So what I'm hearing is the voter doesn't have to inform you of the new address, we're just auto-assigning them?
We have a procedure. That is, if we can find those addresses, the way 911 works, okay? No water does 911. but the way 911 works, okay? The addresses are selected, it is geographed in, the people are notified. Those lists are available, that if we can find a certified source that matches 3 points with that person, that has the old address, which is a rural route, the new address that they're going to, which,
Is the same thing being done for all areas?
yes.
Okay.
But, not everybody is a landowner. 911 is really good to work with, most of them. And in where the 911s, they submit all their addresses. CSA gets all of those files, and then they are allowed and given to us. Now, granted, if we can't match that person with enough information to know if that woman or man, whichever, that voter moved, we can't change them. If the voter has moved and the address that we currently have is not where they live, then we can't change it, because that requires a voter's initiated change. So there are a lot of,
Clarifying that, one last question. So I know at-large could drive in during early walk-in days for
Yes.
absentees. So I was trying to match the law to what I saw published in the Cherokee line, and it looks like there's more days of absentee walk-in associated with the runoff than there is with the general or primary.
same amount of days.
Could that just be reviewed just to make sure?
They
Because it
were
looks-
supposed to have changed that, because I did.
Yeah. I made a phone call too, asking.
And we did. We gave them the correction of the dates and asked them to change it, because,
So that's just gonna be one Saturday and 3 days in the middle of the week
Yes.
prior, but not 2 weeks prior?
no,
Okay,
it'll be the Saturday before and the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before.
okay, that's what I want to clarify. And that at-large, if they want to fly in, drive in, walk in, they can come to Tahlequah those
Absolutely.
days
Yes.
if they hadn't got a ballot.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, ladies. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Counselor, you want to stay?
Question's been answered, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Counselor Keenan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If you're at large and you request an absentee ballot, does the election commission look up the name to ensure they're Cherokee citizens? Is that how it's going to work now?
Yes, by law, you have to make sure you have sufficient information to guarantee they are a citizen, so it's kind of like the voter application. So you do have to go through the verification process, just like an application.
And even if they didn't know their name, you would still look it up?
Yes, and we addressed that in our last meeting, which was a couple days ago, and there was an asterisk by, because I guess there were some complaints, there was an asterisk by where it said, if there's an asterisk, you have to fill that part out by the blue card or the registration number. That is no longer on there, because by law, we can't deny it if it doesn't have it on there, if we can find out that this is who they say they are and they're a Cherokee citizen. So, I hope that answers it.
It just helps. We can't read their names, you can't, maybe you can't read them. If we have that number, it automatically keys them in and you go, okay, that's what that says. So, we
But by law,
prefer
you
it,
don't
but
have
we
to.
will look it up.
Thank you. Thank you,
Very
Mr.
good.
Chair.
Counselor Lay?
Just one quick one. The walk-in votes at Tahlequah, that's anybody, is that correct?
Anybody.
Not just at large, not just Cherokee County,
Anybody.
Very good. You guys have been doing your homework. Thank you very much. Ms. Morris,
right.
that's a good report.
No more questions. Now you see why I brought them, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Keep up the good work. Okay, Tax Commission, Ms. Sharon Swepston. Give us some good news, Sharon. You're in your new building here, right?
Yes. The tag office is in the new building. It's been there since December the 1st. We had the ribbon cutting open house, which I thought went really well. We had a good turnout there. Staff's all getting settled in, so it's going well. The office at Catoosa seems to be running well. It's picking up every day, so I think that will continue to grow. I think you have my report in front of you. If you have any questions, I'll try to address them.
You have your report, Counselor Walkenstick.
You know what the increase has been for 5 contiguous counties and excise tax sale?
You mean the increase from, like, compared to what we done last year to this year?
Correct.
I can get that for you.
I'm
I don't have it with me.
Just curious for school funding and roads and law enforcement, all that good stuff.
Okay, so you just want the expanded counties?
Correct. Yeah, yeah, 5 contiguous. Thank you, Chair.
Good. Counselor Buzzard?
Sharon, I noticed there was some 30% decrease in the tobacco sales,
Yes, sir.
which is good, great. But why is that?
Mostly due to a lot of the campaigns for anti-smoking campaigns and all of that. Plus, just the fact that the taxes went up and they don't have their market share that they had before, and it just continues to go down. But I think the biggest reason is because that everybody's promoting to be healthy and not smoke. And
Well, it's good to know that it is having some effect.
yes.
Campaign that we're doing out here. Good to know. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anybody else? Counselor Baker?
Thank you. Now, in the extended jurisdictional area, the rest of Tulsa County, Wagner, and so forth, do the schools within that extended area get money for their students?
That is left up to this council.
Because I know the discussion was had on roads, and that we were not going to be building roads within
Right.
the Creek Nation,
Right.
so.
I can defer to
Let the creeks
the
do that.
AG on that. I mean, I know what the intent was, but
Well, at the, Ms. Weston's right, at the end of the day, how that money is going to be allocated is within the purview of this tribal council, and how that is done equitably and fairly is, we will find out through proposals that are brought forth by the administration, but the purse strings lie here.
But does the money still have to go, the same percentage to the schools and to roads?
Yeah, the percentages are all the same in the context.
Compact, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Counselor Watts, you have a question?
Thank you. Congratulations on your new facilities.
thank you.
And do we know what the associated overhead costs have been, just to give an idea of how successful we're being, not just revenue, but
As far as
costs?
the cost of those buildings, I would have to get with facilities on that because that is actually a building owned by the nation, so it's in the cost pool.
Okay, not those.
Okay.
I think the cost associated with the tag expansion.
Oh, okay.
So what the actual, in, not just revenue, but.
You
what
want to
we-
know how much,
what
how the
profit.
increase in staff and all of that?
Yes,
Yes,
so-
I can get you that. I
So
don't
in
have that
order
in front of me.
to facilitate those, what that differential is,
Sure.
so we can see how much money we made.
Mm.
Thank you.
Are you good?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Counselor Keenan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, we're under a time constraint on that, deciding what to do with that extra money, correct?
Yes.
So, can you give us a timeline of what you need to?
Well, it wouldn't be me. It would be on the distribution of the money to the schools.
Right,
So,
and that's what I mean, whenever that money's available,
right.
but we don't want to be caught what we were to do with it.
It's usually distributed sometime in March. So
Okay?
I think the
So-
date is set towards the end of March.
So we need to act next month then?
Yes, sir.
At the latest?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Good? All right. Better be good, Counselor
Good one.
Walkenstick.
I read the Chickasaws partner with the state.
Yes.
What's the cost on that if we were to?
I have asked to get a copy of their compact so I could read it. I haven't gotten that yet because I would like to look at it and see, because they're actually, what they're doing is, my understanding is their citizens go to a Oklahoma tag agent, they buy the tag, then they have to turn in a report back to the Chickasaws, or the individual does, and I'm not sure which way that works.
Bill 'em.
Then they get part of it back from the Chickasaw Nation to their citizen.
So they get like an invoice from the state saying this is what you owe us,
No, it's not from the state. It would be, you would owe it, they owe it back to the citizen.
owe back to the citizen.
Citizen pays full price or whatever for that tag, and then they would have to get that information, and then they would rebate back to the individual citizen. That was my understanding how it worked, but I have not seen it in writing,
So
so.
they doing it for free?
I doubt it.
I doubt
Got
it too.
that. So my
Yeah.
understanding was they thought the tags were gonna be a little more than what just an original tag was, so,
Yeah,
and I
there's
don't
a-
know how that works, so I
There's
would just
cost
have to
involved
look.
somewhere in there.
I'm sure the state's gonna retain part of that, and then a percentage of it goes to the Chickasaws, and then they'll rebate out of that amount, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know what those specifics are.
Once you get that, could you share that with us? That'd be
Certainly.
interesting to know.
Yes,
All right, thanks, Sharon. Keep up good work too.
Thank
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, good report, Sharon.
all right,
Appreciate you.
thank you.
Okay, self-governance, I don't see Vicki Hamby. Okay, so I do see J.B. Hummingbird, Gaming Commission.
Good afternoon. Please tell me my report made it in this month. Okay. You're toying with me there, Frankie. One update to that report, the numbers for the compact fee payments for December came in after I sent that report in, and it has brought that total number right at to the brink of 16.5 million contributed under the compact in calendar year 2014. I can get an updated copy of the spreadsheet to you if you'd like. Also, some other news I'd like to throw out there to the council is the facility that is going up as we speak in South Coffeyville is coming right along. My staff, as well as C&E staff and the construction staff, are working very tirelessly to get that facility prepared and ready for opening by the scheduled date of February 16. They're currently testing all the machines that have been placed on the floors, and we'll be doing so for the rest of this week and possibly into next week, just depending on how things go. But they are doing a very good job. Everybody seems to be working very well. I believe the council is also aware that the Roland facility had its topping out ceremony last week, which marks a huge milestone in the development of that property. We are still on pace, on schedule for that building, so we are waiting to see the arrival of the machines coming around sometime late March, early April, and look to be on time for a mid-May or mid to late May opening. The NIGC did come into our facility at Ramona to do a surveillance review. They did a checklist review of our surveillance operations. I want to say that the staff there, the surveillance staff that C&E had on hand for us to help us go through the facility and be there to answer questions for the NIGC, did an outstanding job. I let Donald Childers know, as well as John Underwood, who was on site at the time, that the staff that they had there were very impressive in their knowledge of the system and the rules and regulations, and they were able to provide the NIGC field auditor with all the information that she requested as she requested it. She did a very good job in representing not only the C&E but the nation as well. And as was mentioned just a little bit ago, the new ordinance that has been approved by the NIGC, we are in the process of developing and looking at our internal regulatory structure to see where any changes will need to be made. We have looked at, over the last few weeks, a process by which I think we will be able to proceed in a very measured pace. I put out a proposal to my commission, and I don't want to say too much out of term because they have not blessed this yet, but I think it's a process that we will probably look at one way or another to use. And I have one of my commissioners here, so if I say something, she'll probably correct me very quickly. But what we want to do is take a look at the ordinance and see where there are changes that are going to be necessary, identify a priority, if you will, of how we are going to be able to tackle those issues, and then set those priorities into motion by drafting the necessary regulations and changes and processing them through the APA process as Attorney General Hembry had indicated. We want to do that just to make sure that we are affording, of course, ourselves time to make sure we're giving proper consideration to the issue at hand, that we also afford those impacted by the change in regulation the ability to review, weigh in, and comment on any of the proposed changes. And once those comments come in, as usual, we will take a look at those, review the comments, and then be able to respond, and then go through the APA process as we should. I don't know if I can give you a timeline for how long this process will take. All I can say is that we will work on this, and we will keep a rolling process going until we get through. But we will be making progress on that, and I anticipate being able to provide the commission with my recommendations at our commission meeting next Friday, and hopefully be able to present a first set of revisions at the March commission meeting. With that, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Any questions for Jamie? Councilor Baker.
Just a comment. I see with the additional over $1 million that we paid in compact fees in December, that in the last 10 years, we will have paid over $150 million.
That is correct. That is just the Cherokee Nation portion.
Right.
And I apologize, I had meant to bring the overall report that the state has on their website. I printed it off in November, but I was not able to make the December meeting. But I can make sure you guys get a copy of that, because it shows that not only have the tribes met our initial, for lack of a better term, obligation under the compact, which our projected contributions to the state at that time was a little north of $70 million. We have met that and then some. So we have, over the last 4 years, it's been fairly consistent that the tribes have contributed over $120 million annually to the coffers of the state.
Okay. Good. Yeah, if you could send that out, I would appreciate it.
We will do.
Thank you,
Councilor
Mr. Chair.
Besser.
Jamie, what's the status, or what are we doing with the racetrack there at the fairgrounds there at Tulsa? Are we still paying those compact fees to the state on it, and is it going to end soon, or what are they going to do?
Yes, the payments to Fair Meadows.
Yes.
Yes, Fair Meadows payments are still continuing. I apologize, I don't know the particulars on the arrangement or when it's going to come up again. I know it came up not too long ago, sometime about this time last year. I can find out what the particulars are and get you a full report. I'd rather not speculate at this point.
It'd be interesting to see what's going to happen there. If they're not going to have horse racing there, so if we need to keep paying those fees, and I think there were 3 tribes involved with it, Cherokee, Creeks, and the Osage that were doing it. So.
Right. The amount that is provided to Fair Meadows every month is a prorated share of the number of gaming machines owned or operated by each of the tribes in relation to the amount of revenue produced. So depending on how many machines we have on the floor in the Creeks and the Osages, are as you can see by the monthly report, the amount that we pay into Fair Meadows every month varies, and it's just because machines go out and machines come in.
It'd be interesting to know what on the horizon is.
Okay. I will find out for you.
Entity right there. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good. Anybody else? Councilor Keenan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jamie, I appreciate what the board and your staff and you're up against with the new law and implementing that. And I understand that the council, and I don't know about the administration, they will receive comps again. Is that moving forward again?
I have no information on that. I don't have any. The commission doesn't have any involvement in that.
That wouldn't have to go through the APA process?
I'm kind of at a loss as to how to respond. The commission at this point does not have any regulations, nor has it ever had any regulations that would govern the actions of either the principal chief's office or the tribal council. So I would assume anything like that would have to be from this body.
And that gets into that gray area where it's non-gaming now, but it kind of interacts with gaming, because if the comps are taken away from gaming people and given to us, that's one of those gray areas that we'll have to work out, I think, in the future.
Well, comps, complementary items are a part of the NIGC's minimum internal control standards. It is something that is considered a gaming activity. I think that may be something that we would have to take a look at. I'll make a note.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Chair, should we as a body then suspend those until the determination's been made by the commission?
It's up to the body. I mean, I have a question. When did the comps even start? We didn't have comps when I was in office. When did you guys start this? Let me ask that.
The best recollection I have is that when we first got the joint at the Hard Rock facility, that there was a section that was...
What year would that have been, Jamie?
Oh, gosh.
2000 and what?
About 2008, 2009.
Okay. Former administration.
Yes.
Okay. Did we have that discussion, though, like this before we got into the comps, or are we just, that you guys will be regulating it?
No, we were never approached about anything related to comps for anything outside of the gaming operation.
Okay. That should have been discussed back in 2008. We might not have been having this discussion 2015. I mean, it's up wishes of the body. I just threw that out. I know we didn't have comps, and then all of a sudden I get elected again, and we're dealing with comps. I said, where did this start anyway?
And like I said, the best recollection I have is when the joint came on, that there was a section that was assigned to the nation.
Okay.
And how that worked, we did not get into.
Let me do some homework, it looks like.
I'll definitely be doing some homework.
Yes, and we do too as well.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Any more questions?
So that means we do receive comps if we wanted them today?
I think we, at this body, it's up to this body if you think. Mr. AG, you have a
Mr.
comment?
Chairman, if I may comment on this. There is complementary comps, as we would call them, and then there's administrative expenses. Oftentimes the words are interchangeable, but they mean different things. One thing that has been a charge of mine clearly is to make sure that the practices of the nation are legal. And with the tickets that were set aside, that was an administrative expense, we suspended that activity to review it, to make sure that everything was followed under the laws and the regulations of ourself and NIGC. We believe that we have satisfied to a T any questions about that, and that's why the practice of the administrative expense items being made available again. But that being said, you know, the tribal council is well within their own purview to create any rules that you have to govern yourself as an independent branch of government that is obviously within your purview. That being said, I just wanted to make that clarification that it is our understanding, and through an enormous amount of diligence, that the practice is acceptable.
Yes, Councilman.
Did it go through the APA process?
It's not a. It is not a. There's no, as Jamie correctly stated, there's never been a rule on it. Now, if you want to make a rule, that's within your purview to do. So there was nothing to go through an APA process. However, if the council wanted to pass a law, or they wanted to institute a rule of your own, you have every ability to do that.
And did I hear you correctly, administrative expense and comps are the same?
No, I said they're different.
Oh, I thought you said the same.
Oh, I'm sorry, if I did, I misspoke.
So the comps would go under administrative expenses? Is that what I heard you say?
No.
No?
They're two different, and Jamie obviously is an expert on this, and he can explain, but they're two different things.
If I might, that is one area in which we do have difficulty at times as we go through and look at the practice of issuing complimentaries. As we go through and have, I think it was this last year's audit on comps, we found where there was confusion created between situations that would call for an out-and-out comp, as we would know them, versus an administrative expense. We saw instances where casino staff did not know which one to use. We saw some that were just used for expediency, things that led them to say, well, it's a comp, well, I've just got this administrative expense, I'll use that, and then we'll go back and fix it later. The terminology does present a challenge, and it is something that we do need to have a very clear, definitive separation between, because an administrative expense by the members of management or anybody within the gaming operation are usually just that. They're part of business. Comps are usually more closely associated with the rewarding of players, sometimes recruitment or enticement, if you will, for players to come in, because that's actually one of the definitions of comps, is an enticement given to a patron to gamble. So being able to clearly define those two is something that we want to do, and we will be talking with operations, because as a part of their policy now, it is labeled that. It's actually, they're both combined into one policy, if I remember correctly, as complimentaries and administrative expenses. The definitions are in there, and we need to make sure that everybody clearly understands what each one is and how each one is supposed to be used. But they are two separate things, and we just have a little bit of a challenge to get that understanding understood by all the staff out there.
Speaker?
Yeah.
Are you-
I think,
No.
Lee, what we could do is we have policies that govern what the council does. If you want to adjust those policies to where they don't include comps for the council, you could simply pass a policy that the council does not game at any of our facilities. We do not have that rule now. I think I have talked to most of you privately about it's not a good idea to game at facilities that we also own. And there is a rule up at the casinos that if you should hit a major prize, you can't collect it. So it doesn't make sense to me that any of us in this governing body would want to game at a facility that we cannot win at. But there is not a prohibition, therefore there's not a prohibition on the comps that Jamie is describing. We could take that up in our policies and prohibit ourselves, any member of this body, from gaming. And that takes care of the comp issue as defined right now. As comps are defined right now, that would take care of that particular issue. And I understood comps to be defined just as Mr. Hummingbird just described it. And that could be taken care of under your policies with a simple additional line that says everybody on this body agrees that they will not game in our own facilities, because gaming leads to, if you do a lot of gaming, it leads to comps, or you are eligible, I guess, for comps. So if you want to take that up under our policies, we could put that on for another rules committee and consider that comp issue as related to the gaming issue that Jamie just described.
That was my next question about policy, where it's written, so that would be a good idea. That would be my
It's not
recommendation.
written currently.
Yeah, it's not in our policies right now. There is not a written exclusion to you all, prohibiting you all from gaming. You just can't win anything that requires is it 1,500?
12.
1,200. In excess of 1,200, you could not accept it because you would have to receive a,
You get a 1040, a W-2G.
okay.
It's $1,200 is the IRS tax reportable amount.
Okay. And I think the way it works now, my understanding, and you correct me, Jamie, if I'm wrong, if someone on this body were to win more than $1,250, they would have to receive one of these documents that would lead to their name being checked against a roster of employment or official capacity, and they could not receive it.
I don't know about checking it against a roster. I know it does get ran against a whole bunch of federal databases. Right now, we don't have, the commission does not have a rule on the books for C&E to say that any elected official, whether it's council, deputy chief, or principal chief, would be ineligible to receive that. I believe what we have.
I was thinking we were treated like employees in that instance, and I know an employee can't win and game at the facilities.
Yeah, and the distinction on that, though, is employees can win taxable amounts. What they cannot do is win progressive amounts. So they could.
Or the hot seats.
Right, or any promotional issue.
Promotional deal.
Right, you know, them or their immediate family.
Because that's been an issue with
Right.
a lot of a number of our employees have at least come to me and said, you know, why do you exclude us from the hot seat or the promotional items? And I said, well, it's not us. Someone had told them that we excluded them. I said, we don't have anything to do with those exclusions. Those exclusions are through C&E or gaming or a rule that they have, not a rule that the council's got.
Correct, and we get that question too. Why do we prevent them from doing that? And we are much like you in that instance, is we don't do that. We do approve the policy because there is a requirement to have a policy on employees gaming in your facility, but the contents of that policy were drafted by operations. And I think the language that we see today is good language simply because it removes any appearance of impropriety. You don't want the perception that the only reason you won is because you are an elected official or you're the elected official's spouse or daughter or what have you. So in that sense, I think that policy is good. But we don't have anything right now that would prohibit that. Now, in the past, we have had council members that were either part of a bingo game or part of a what is referred to as a slot tournament, but with the understanding that if they were to win any amounts, that they would not accept that personally, but they would ask that money to be directed to a charity or to a problem gambling treatment center. So, you know, as far as that goes, you know, we don't prohibit anybody on this body from doing anything out there. But I think if we did correlate it back to employees, it would be to say, you know, no progressives, no promotional activity, because once you start building up those credits, it does get your name on the list, if you will, to receive certain other benefits by virtue of your activity at the
It's a
facility.
black card, isn't it?
Yeah, if you get a black card, you've been spending a lot. But, yeah.
And something else we would have to think of as a body is possibly taking it a step further, that you don't have your spouses, you don't have your moms or dads or any of them issued any sort of black card or any card that involves comps.
Right.
I mean, I think it'd only be appropriate that it be extended to your mom, dad, kids, spouse, if we're going to make that sort of policy, they're all gonna be in the same boat with you.
The Gaming Commission has taken upon itself as a part of its bylaws to go ahead and not only preclude the commissioners themselves and their spouses, but in their immediate family, but anybody living in their household. And that not only applies to the commissioners, but to myself and my staff.
And we probably wouldn't want to do it any different. We just have to set all of our families down and say, you know, we can't game because we're on this body, so you can't game either. I mean, if we were going to make that kind of policy. I've never had that problem of winning, because I never win. I mean, it's purely a donation. In fact, I tell people, thank you for donating to our educational fund, because that's 90%, that's what they're doing. About 10% are winning and 90% are donating.
I should probably not comment on the payback percentages.
I wasn't gonna comment on that either. I'm still promoting, but I don't
Well,
gamble.
I'll promote, but I'm just telling you, the odds are not in favor of the person sitting in front of the machine.
Okay. It's leisure.
That doesn't mean they're gonna stop, but it's not their favor.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you want to consider those policies, see me after and we'll try to get it on a rules deal.
Something for discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. Councilor Walkinston.
Hey, Jamie, if we're running under mix and everything's ran smooth and fair and orderly, I know there's always gonna be perception, but I'm kind of with Speaker Jordan on our employees.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of employees that take part in that business, and I know you don't have any pull on those policies, but who does have who is over those policies again?
That would be going probably starting with
CMB board or?
the C&E management being probably Mark Fulton, Sean Slayton, and those, and then ultimately
So the board is
the
one
board
that-
would also be informed of that as well. Yes.
Okay, because I'm in favor to change those policies where our employees can start receiving those benefits and promotional. And what's bad is that everyone's related to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen this old Cherokee man the other day, he had jackpot, and his daughter was married to a guy that worked at the casino, and they took his jackpot away. You know, it was some type of kin they looked up on computer.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's what we run into, and we just need to look at. I know I don't need to be talking to you about this, but I appreciate you informing us of who to go talk to.
Yeah, the process or the policy, if you will, of employees gambling at a place where they work, or at least at a place that is owned by their employer, varies by tribe.
Yeah.
Some don't allow it at all. Some only allow certain levels of activity. Some have no restrictions. Whatever that policy is something that we will be cognizant of, because that becomes potentially an issue for us. And I'll kind of give you an example, particularly in the areas of cards, because if you have employees playing in the same place that they work, it's very easy, and it's been done all across this place, across this country, in Indian casinos as well as commercial, where you will have those employees run a table. They could run your customers out. They could take advantage of your customers. They could make them. They could
Well,
make it to where they are the winners.
If it's ran fair, it doesn't matter who's going in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. But anytime you introduce an employee element in there with another employee,
It's a perception. I
yeah,
understand.
it becomes a little bit more concerning.
Yeah.
And it's something that we will watch.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Thanks, Jamie.
Very good. We'll have this discussion again.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, I don't see Nathan Morton. Okay, all right. Nathan Morton from our Human Resources.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Submitted a written report. Also, Human Resources participated in a job fair at Oshaleta along with Career Services and Health Services, and it seemed to go very well. We've also, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but a few months ago we had a full-time recruiter to assist the departments on hard-to-fill positions, and he will work with the department and try to find out the specific needs of that department, whether it's a problem with a certain job for that geographical area, or if it's something where we're having a hard time filling a particular job throughout the nation. It's just another resource to help to assist us to get fully staffed. We've also been sending out all employee emails on our employee assistance program. And it is a service the tribe offers for, it's available to employees, it's a confidential service, and it deals with a variety of life issues. It's just a resource that the employees can use, and it's also, I believe, for their spouses and immediate family. So it's just another resource that is offered by the nation. That's all I have as far as announcements. Any questions?
Yes, Councilor Lay?
Thank you, sir. This hard-to-fill position person, is that for health only or any job?
Anywhere where he's needed.
And what is his, can you forward his contact to the council or to?
Yes.
Philip? Okay. And also, do you have anything to do with CMB and CNE HR?
They're a separate agency or separate group. We talk, and we also have the link I sent you a couple months ago where all our jobs are listed in the one area on the website. So we do a joint service through that along with Career Services. But as far as day-to-day operations, we're separate. But we've worked together successfully.
And I guess, I think the person who used to sit in your chair probably did step out from time to time to go over there to help our employees, assist. Sometimes when problem areas arose, were you aware of that? Or?
We'd go over to
CNE and CNB.
And to discuss common issues and common, we do that on occasion. Visited, I know, at least once, working on a project together, and we correspond regarding policy sometimes. So yes, we do talk, and we worked on joint projects together.
One of the reasons I ask, and I'm glad to hear you go over there sometimes, is because I attended a follow-up on a firing or a possible firing of an employee a couple of months ago. And this person, I think it was called a follow-up interview. It's almost, to me, it was an exit interview because they had fired this person and they brought him back in and he said, "I'm sorry, I won't do it anymore," whatever it was. But he was fired anyway. And I couldn't get too much information out of the HR person who was interviewing him. And I was in the room and it was a joke, in my opinion, the way it was handled. And CNE HR didn't come over here, so you're here. So could you sit in on some of those types of interviews? See what you think about it. Is that a possibility?
I'm not sure it would be appropriate for me to go over on an interview like that. And
They allow somebody to come in the room with them. That's why I was allowed in.
oh, for the person when,
Yeah. And I'm not saying a lot of people are going to call you because they don't know you. But I thought that the secondary interview was just interesting because it was already a done deal. This person was going to get fired. And what I'm seeing over there is a lot of our younger Cherokee people or younger Indian people are hired, and that's a very confining and highly regulated and rules-oriented industry. That may be their first job. And so they bump into a lot of rules and they get fired. Sometimes I wonder if we'd send them home for a couple of weeks, bring them back for some reorientation and try to get them back into the working environment that they may take hold the second chance. See what I'm getting at?
Yes.
I'd like to see a program like that started, but we never see any HR people, and when I call them, they're just pretty much, we don't do that, and we're not doing that.
Each
And the only person that ever comes over is Sean, and he says, I get back to you. And sometimes he does, not saying he doesn't. But from his level down to that level of that employee that I walked in with that day is a long way. And so if you could try to help go over and see that process, I'd appreciate it.
And each organization is a little bit different,
Well,
and they
but
have different.
that's a tribal employer, though.
Yes.
That's our business. And so for somebody, you know, it's a little bit disconcerting for me to hear that that's a different organization. I understand that, but it's still Cherokee Nation businesses, Cherokee Nation Entertainment. Cherokee Nation's right at the top.
Yes, sir.
So I'd like to see you go over there and view that process and see what you think. And that's all I'm asking.
And it's something that I've been associated with the tribe for about, well, a little over a decade. And in my previous role, I've had a working relationship with them, and it's been very mutually beneficial to both of us. And I'd be happy to go talk to them, but they are also very knowledgeable about their area and everything else, and they help me, I help them when we have questions, because we are the same group. It's just we may have separate rules during the process, and so we do talk. But I don't know that I would be able to go in and say, well, you need to change this, you need to do that. But I will keep an open dialogue, because I have questions of them too, and about how this works and how that works. And so just make sure to always stay in contact with each other, and it's a good idea. But as far as me going in and saying, hey, I think you should run it this way, I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Well, that's not what I'm asking.
But I will keep in contact.
That's not what I'm asking, but you're the only HR person here, so I'm asking.
I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I have a comment, Nathan. I was just looking here, you know, having the opportunity to travel throughout Indian country, other tribes, 39 tribes in Oklahoma. You visit other tribes, and there's always a Cherokee. One of our Cherokees employed by the Chickasaws, Osages, and so forth, and that's good. We appreciate that for other tribes taking our people in consideration. But I was looking here, and we have 3,471, 2,875 are Cherokee.
Yes.
261 are members of another federal recognized tribe.
Yes, sir.
That's really pretty good on how many people we take care of out there from other tribes. I just want other tribes to know that, because they do hire our people as well. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Thank you for that report. Okay, I think there's a couple more items we need to take care of in old business. Yes, Council Speaker?
If I could, I would like to ask our Attorney General to formally introduce our information officer, and I would ask to amend the agenda to let her give her report today. She got left off here at the bottom of the report.
Oh, okay. Is she here?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Gwen Terrapin, who has been on the job for the independent FOIA review officer. She is housed in the hotel. I don't know exactly where, but she's But at any rate, Ms. Terrapin is very, very capable and in this process, and I've been very, very pleased that for the most part I am out of the process. So, with that being said, I will turn it over to Ms. Cherokee.
Thank you, A.G. Hembry. It's a pleasure to be here today. Excuse me. For, as most of you know, on our website, oh, you can't hear me? Darn. On our website now, we have a link to the FOIAs and GRAs, and this is the first time that this has ever happened. So we've been updating it on a monthly basis since, I think, around August. We started doing that, even before I was hired into this position, which it helps a lot so that people can go on there and know what's going on with our FOIAs, and if they have any questions, they can contact us about it. And for the time period of 2014, there were 88 requests. 48 of those were FOIA, and 40 of those were GRAs. And the approximate cost for that was $81,415.36. And these costs are not costs that we incurred or that we were able to take in. These are approximate cost based on the amount of time that it took in each department, and just an overall estimate as to how much it would actually cost to fulfill these if we were to actually get paid and to charge people for these requests. Already for the time period of January 1st to the 28th, we've got 16 FOIA requests and no GRAs. And the updated list, the end of the year list for 2014 is on the website, and there's also the form for the FOIA requests is on there also. And I'm actually located in room 132. That's my island. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Any questions?
I got one.
Counselor Walker-Stick.
I just appreciate the transparency that you bring to the job.
Thank you.
Let everyone know what's going on. I know a long time ago, when we approved this position, there was a lot of people out protesting, saying we're taking away transparency and stuff. But with you putting that on the website and making it known to everybody, I'm just glad that light's coming to the surface and everyone's going to be in the know.
Thank you.
So I appreciate your work.
Thank you.
And you're saving us lots of money.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this is true.
All right. Thank you.
I might note also that through a lot of the research that I did from 2002, around the time period that the GRA and the FOIA went into effect, I did research from 2002 to 2012 until the AG's office took over doing those. And all of those requests and responses that we're able to are also going to be on the website. And hopefully, because it does take a while to update the websites and everything. I don't know if any of you have ever worked on any of those, but sometimes it takes a little while to get those on there. And hopefully within the next couple of months, I will have all of that information on there too, so that anyone can go back and look, or if I have a duplicate request, I can go in and provide that information.
Very good. Okay. Very good report. Counselor Lay?
One question. You say the results are on the website? You mean you're giving the information that we're asking for?
Some of the information will be. It will not be GRA information. It will only be FOIA information that is actually publicly available.
From 2000
From 2002 to present.
to present day?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Good. Counselor Watts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the report. So just a couple of clarifications. I think the GRA request will be available, though. The fact that a request was made, or no, just a count of number of requests for GRAs?
I will make that request available also on there. Is that the information that was given out to you as a council member, because the majority of it is privileged and confidential, those documents will not be available on the website.
But the public documents associated with the GRA would?
Yes, any public documents will be
Okay,
on
so
there.
it's not, what I heard was a blanket, any response to the GRA would?
That's what she said, but
Right, I'm sorry, I needed to clarify that. It's, if there are GRA requests on there that the information is not public documents, that information will not be on there.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Well, thank you for that report.
Thank you.
Now, we're to old business, 1 and 2, we need to address.
We would pull both of those because we've already started the process of moving 4 members of that committee forward. that was put on there to kind of generate some interest, and apparently it did
It
just
did.
what we needed for it to do.
Okay,
So we will pull 1 and 2.
Okay, that takes us down to new business, item number 5.
That would be mine.
Yes.
And I'm going to request to table that for this month.
Let's second
Okay,
that.
Table in second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Before we adjourn, I want to commend Mr. Lyndon Emberton, and Mr. Baker, I want to have you, then you give yours. He's been here the whole duration, so he's really serious about making a contribution to the Cherokee Nation. Got anything to say now?
It's a privilege and honor to be a part of it, and everything that's went on has been kind of my background. It's the things that I'm interested in, so it's been really good. I'm really proud of what I hear.
We appreciate you being here, and I think you've got a teammates on his way down, okay?
Okay, good.
Okay. All right, Councilor Baker, you've got us an update on issue here?
Yes. Last month, Tribal Council, actually, I guess earlier this month, we passed a resolution opposing the line through the Cherokee Nation. Well, and I mentioned then that the next day, beginning on Tuesday, all day Tuesday, Wednesday, and half a day Thursday, the Department of Energy was having a Section 106 consultation with the various tribes. And I went by there on Wednesday afternoon, and unfortunately, we didn't have anyone from the Cherokee Nation there, although there were probably 12 to 15 other tribal representatives. I know that Tom Elkins had called in, they told me the day before, for a while. That Lisa Baker from the UKB called in, and she did called in, I think, for all of the conference. But the Johnny Jacobs from the Muskogee Creek Nation was sort of taking the lead. The 5 tribes was doing a fantastic job. I know she's sending updates regularly to Dr. Gloria Sly of what is happening. And also the Osage Nation, Andrea Hunter, was there, and she helped a great deal too, because they had worked with the Keystone Pipeline as it came to the Osage Nation. So various agreements already worked out with the Department of Energy for consultation. So Johnny Jacobs from the Creek Nation will be sending draft copies of those agreements in case the pipeline is built or approved, that the Cherokee Nation can look at and revise those documents. Now, the main person from the Department of Energy was a Jane Summerson, and from Clean Line Energy Partners was a Jason Thomas. And I did give them the unsigned copy of the resolution that we had passed, and they were concerned about it, of course. And of course, the lady from the Department of Energy immediately said, "Oh, there's mistakes in this," but she never pointed out exactly what they were. But I do know that Linda Donaldson in 2012, in their first consultation with them, did a very good job, because she pointed out many of our sites, including the Stokes Stop Ground, Dwight Mission, Sequoia's Cabin, and so forth. So if they're going, it'll be 1.5 miles from the Stokes. The proposed line is 1.5 miles from the stop grounds. But the Jane Summerson, Jason Thomas did want to meet with the council. And I told them, well, if we approve them to be on the resource committee, that would be the same day. By the way, there's a number of hearings, and we passed out the hearing schedule to everyone. But our next committee meeting for the resources is on Tuesday, February 17th, and they have a 5 p.m. hearing they have to be at in Russellville, Arkansas. So if we wanted them to come to the resource committee, then we would have to change the time to 11 or 12 o'clock for the resource committee on that day. We also have an option. They have their public hearing in Muskogee is this next Monday at 5 p.m. And of course, they said they'd be amenable to meeting with some of the council members beforehand if any of them wish to. And then also on February the 18th is a public hearing in Fort Smith. So if we wanted, which they did want to discuss it with at least some of the council members, but that's up to the council members. So we want to meet with them next Monday in Muskogee, or change our resource and invite them to address the resource committee, or not meet with them at all. So just throw that out.
Counselor Watkins?
Do we have maps now that kind of locate all this and tell what really is happening or not?
Yes, I have a website that supposedly has the map on there. And actually, I'll have a copy made.
Does it map our things or some proximities so that we can kind of see that it
Actually, I haven't
doesn't?
looked at it in detail, but if you want to pull it up, I have it
Okay.
here, and we'll make a copy during break and pass it out to everyone during E&F. And then the contact for the lady.
Councilor Baker, we'll have you get with our speaker and see if you want to coordinate something, if there's interest there, or, you know.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Is that good?
If you
Yes.
wanted to go to Muskogee, it'll have to be less than
Four.
less than 9. It could only be 8
Yeah.
that could go. If you wanted to go to any of these meetings, since it involves tribal business, it would have to be less than a quorum.
Okay. Councilor Bryant?
I attended their meeting in Sequoia County that was presented by them, and I have no desire to attend any more of their meetings.
I don't know about the Sequoia meeting, but I was told, well, the Department of Energy evidently was not present. And I was told that no one from Clean Line Energy.
They were the allowed speakers. We were only to ask questions.
Okay.
They made a big presentation. I attended. I was there. I spoke.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I presented the information. So
Yeah, we appreciate you doing that, Councilor
But they
Baker. I'm
wasn't.
glad you covered us.
Okay.
Okay. That takes care of that business there at this time. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.